His eyes gravitated to two figurines on the president's desk, a Democratic donkey and Republican elephant, linked together with a metal chain. New statuettes? Roosevelt nodded. I thought the shackles might get them to work together. He smiled. Donovan admired the president's sense of humor in the most trying of times, as well as his willingness to collaborate with people who held opposing views. Although Donovan and Roosevelt had similar personalities, they had conflicting political views. A decade earlier, Donovan publicly criticized Roosevelt's record as governor of New York. Roosevelt never held a grudge, and, when the war erupted in Europe, he'd enlisted Donovan to travel to England as an informal emissary to meet Churchill and the directors of British intelligence. FDR soon relied upon Donovan's insight and, 5 months earlier, had signed an order naming Donovan Coordinator of Information. "What's on your mind, Bill?" Roosevelt asked. "Now that we're at war, we need to establish a method for clandestine military measures against the enemy." Donovan unlocked his briefcase, removing a one-page memorandum, and gave it to the president. "My recommendations are brief." The president read the memorandum. He rubbed his eyes and placed the paper face down on his desk. Roosevelt, who downplayed the effects of his polio, except with his most trusted advisers and friends, labored to adjust the steel leg braces under his trousers and swiveled his chair towards Donovan. "Guerrilla Corps?" "Yes, sir." "Independent from the Army and Navy?" "The coordination of spies and intelligence should be centralized." An image of his visit with Winston Churchill and his intelligence director flashed in Donovan's head. "I recommend that our guerrilla forces be similar to the British model." "Special Operations Executive?" "Yes, sir." Roosevelt paused, leaning back in his chair. "I'm sure you're aware that my appointment of you to head the COI has been received with animosity by the Army and Navy. Even J. Edgar Hoover views you as a threat to FBI authority." Donovan nodded. "Each branch previously led their own independent intelligence operations. You've taken their turf, and they're not happy about it. And now you want to create a combatant spy force that will steal away some of their best candidates." "That's correct," Donovan said. Roosevelt crossed his arms. "I agree with your proposal, but I have other urgent issues. Our armed forces are in no shape to fight. We're lucky to have two huge oceans separating us from our adversaries. It'll take time to ramp up our military personnel, arms production, and training." Donovan straightened his back. "With all due respect, Mr. President, time is something neither we nor our allies have." Roosevelt drew a deep breath. "All right, Bill. I'll include your recommendations in my discussions at the conference, but I cannot make promises." "Thank you, sir." A knock came from the door. Grace peeked her head inside and said, "Pardon me, Mr. President. Prime Minister Churchill has arrived early. He's on his way and will be here in 30 minutes. "Thank you, Grace," Roosevelt said. Grace slipped away and closed the door. "I'm sorry you will not be joining us for the conference," Roosevelt said. "Churchill and I agreed to limit the attendance to heads of military. No intelligence chiefs will be at the meeting." "I understand, sir," Donovan said, burying his disappointment. "Churchill mentioned that he enjoyed your visit with him in England. He must have been quite impressed to grant you unlimited access to British classified information. Was it your sharing of war stories that won him over?" "Perhaps," Donovan said, "but it might have been the poetry." Roosevelt wrinkled his forehead. Donovan, recalling the words, looked at the president. A steed of matchless speed, a sword of metal keen, all else to noble hearts is dross, all else on earth is mean." The president grinned. "It's the beginning of a 19th century poem, The Cavalier's Song, by William Motherwell. Churchill and I both knew the poem, which we recited together, word for word." "What's it about?" "Courage, honor, and the calling to be a warrior." Roosevelt's face turned somber. "I see why the poem resonates with you." Donovan rubbed his knee.